Just tell them to listen to Rebel FM twice while they're waiting.
Ouch. It's called show prep. It's kind of a prerequisite for our episodes.
It kind of is. God damn
Like,
it.
if you want any idea what Mike's talking about.
I don't think there was a Rebel FM this week, though, so no.
So you're not going to say anything this episode?
This week it's all video game awards and, oh my god, Uncharted.
I'm going to start recording.
I already started recording.
Oh, I'm going to start recording, because that's a thing that you have to do when you make a podcast.
Well,
Boom.
it's optional.
Okay, well, then I'm stopping it.
Oh, no.
Now.
But
Okay,
I think that's the opposite of
I'll
optional.
keep it going. I'll keep it going.
all right.
I, just for the record,
Yeah.
man, pretty lean on what you've been playing this week, so let's maximize some Patreon discussion.
Yeah, I did not play anything new this week. So
I played some games.
I just played a bunch of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And by I played a bunch of Smash Brothers, I mean my kids played a bunch of Smash Brothers.
And you watched.
Yes.
Or were you their punching bag?
I was the one yelling at them to play better.
You're never going to get to competition level with these moves.
Tough love in this household, my friend.
Yeah.
Stop
Oh, you
crying.
got- speaking of Christmas, you got Christmas all up in.
You weren't such a pansy. Mario couldn't beat you like that.
You have a festive holiday tree right behind your noggin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my Festivus tree back
That's
there.
that's really a hat
It is. It's my Christmas hat.
more than anything.
Yeah. You can see what I love is that the colors from the lights actually reflect off my dome.
Could we call it your Christmas toque? I
Yeah.
want to call it your Christmas toque.
You know what? You can call it that.
Okay.
Chris
Sweet.
is not allowed. You can call it.
No,
No.
Sweet.
I can't. What? Ah, Jesus.
So get used to this because this is going to be here for the next 6 months. But the best part will be is the lights will still be there, but you'll be able to see through it.
Now is that a real tree or a fake?
Yeah, we went real this year.
You went real.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Real last year. We're doing real this year. Although I'm a little worried because I think the tree was a little a little more dry than it should have been when we bought it. So
Hmm.
a lot of needles. A lot of needles
Yeah.
falling off. Yeah.
That'll happen. We went fake this year.
Just like your wife's orgasms.
No.
I was wondering if you were actually going to deny it.
Those are totally real. Chris is not home when they happen,
Yeah.
but they are totally real.
Ah, shucks.
I feel bad. I shouldn't have made that joke. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
Your wife's a lovely woman.
I'll find something to get you back.
She wouldn't be that deceptive.
Next time we do some of that real racing, I won't give you the shirt.
The real racing. Jesus. That was 2 years ago.
See if I give you.
I
that
got
shirt
nothing
next
else.
time.
Yeah, you're holding on to it longer than me.
You already threw that out?
Yeah. I'm done with that.
Yeah. Used it, abused it.
Still
Time.
wear the shirt.
Oh, okay. Well then. Let's do a clap. Because I like that.
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Excellent.
Without Phil, that almost sounds synchronized.
Yep.
Almost. Hello and welcome to episode 422 of the Player One podcast for Monday, December 8th, 2014. I'm your host, Chris Johnson. With me this week from Christmas Land up there in snowy Nova Scotia,
Santa's Village.
Santa's Village, Mr. Greg Seward.
Hola.
Yes. And joining me from the great state of Utah is a man who throws his own PlayStation experience every weekend with Little Big Planet, Mr. Mike Phillips.
Hi.
Yeah, hello. Not with us this week is Mr.
Santa's
Phil
little
Giebel,
helper.
who is off doing his thing.
Well, he's got a lot of toy making to do this
Got a
time of year.
backlog. Yeah.
That's right. So there's that. Yeah.
So all Christopher Walken impressions will be done by CJ this week.
Oh,
just
no.
so you know.
You
Yep.
bears. You bet your bears.
It's a whole
Really-
episode of that. Get ready for another hour and 10 minutes of that.
So
Yeah.
did that thing actually happen already?
It did.
Did
The
it?
Hook thing, yeah. Or the
How was it?
Peter
Did
Pan
anyone
thing.
watch it?
I did not watch it.
I saw minutes of it, and it was
And it
not
was
good.
Really?
Yep, it was ample. Yeah, I don't know. The whole concept of doing live theater on television seems very strange.
It seems very. We don't know what to do to increase our audience anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know. I'm sure people who love live theater but don't get a chance to get out of their houses because they are old or infirm or trapped under heavy objects really appreciate that. But
We've run out of dysfunctional redneck families to do reality television shows.
get real. You obviously are not from here. We will never run out of dysfunctional redneck families down south of your border, man.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess I should address.
Peter Pan.
Let's talk more about Peter Pan, more about musicals on television, please. No, I think we should discuss, some things going on with the podcast. Let's focus the spotlight on us for once, right?
For once. I think I'm talking about ourselves nearly enough.
Nearly enough. So you're probably, unless you're watching the live stream of this,
Just living under
probably
a rock.
Which I am,
realizing
by the way.
that the release time has changed for the podcast. We're going to do a Monday night release instead of the usual Sunday night, Monday morning. Going forward, give me more time to edit this thing and actually make the podcast sound
And
good.
that no longer in finger quotes also.
Yeah,
No longer
it's
in
the,
finger
yeah, the real definition of edit.
The real edit is going to happen now on this. And, usually it takes me about twice, whatever the running time of the podcast is, it takes me twice as long to edit at a minimum. So I think...
CJ, I want to congratulate you because it's never sounded like it takes you twice as long as the running time to edit the podcast.
Well, like the last 3 or 4 episodes that I've actually edited have taken me that long. So
And it sounded great.
they have sounded quite good, and I'd like to continue doing that. So that's why we're switching our release day to Monday night. Still Mondays, only in the evening. So maybe what I say at the top of the show will change. Maybe it won't. We'll see.
But you know what? If you watch it live, you still get to see it before then.
Right.
That is so true.
Raw.
Mm.
Player one raw.
Raw
Hell yeah.
files.
And uncut.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us.
The other piece of news is that we have a Patreon now. Yes, that's right. We have gone the way of so many other podcasts and creators and writers and artists, really, and started a Patreon.
And where are you drawing the line for ours? If we don't make a certain number, we're just canceling this thing.
We're
right?
really
That's how it's
This is-
going
If
down.
we can't pay rent on a studio and airfare to and from that studio every week, forget it.
That's right. Yes. No. Ours, since this podcast is more performance art than anything else, we don't have a
Band art.
specific we don't have a specific goal. Although I believe I put on there, if we happen to get funded for over $200 an episode, we will start doing special episodes. That means an extra episode each month that'll be on a different topic, different from the regular show. It'll be
Stock
an
car
interview
racing?
special, or we'll do a racing cast, or whatever we can think of to do some extra Player One audio per month, once per month. So if you go to patreon.com/P1podcast, that's the numeral 1, you'll get all the information there on how you can support this show.
And I mean, just so people understand too, like CJ in particular has been paying for things like the hosting fees and all that sort of thing pretty much out of his own pocket for the last 8 years. So we're not just this isn't just to get some extra cash, although it would be nice to get a little bit of cash for our efforts. But I mean, it's going to be to run the show basically, because this, it's not free to do this.
That's correct.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not required that we hit any type of goal. We'll still do this thing on a weekly basis, if whether you want to give or not. So there you
But
go.
we'll love you more if you do.
We will love you more if you do. Yeah. And, if you want to give us 5 stars on iTunes, that would help a whole lot, too. in lieu of monetary appreciation, an iTunes review will suffice. So, anyway, with that out of the way, let's talk about some news.
There was news this week?
Doesn't that count as news? I felt like that was really the big news of the
really
week.
the top headline.
That's a little bit of news. News about ourselves. But to take it one step further, last week we got the Game Awards and the PlayStation Experience, which is just like a 1-2 punch of new stuff to talk about. Let's start off with the Game Awards.
1-2 meaning that Sony and Nintendo had things to talk about. There is no 3 in this equation.
There is no 3. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. That, after what I would call an extremely strong November for Microsoft and, getting people to purchase an Xbox One by, lowering the price so much that it would be a crime not to purchase it, they had this opportunity to show those new Xbox One owners what's coming in the next year by having a presence at the Game Awards or having any world premiere trailers ready to go, and they didn't. They had nothing. No. It was all Sony and Nintendo, and a commercial for Forza Horizon 2 and Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. Hey everybody, we cut the price by $50. Sweet, I should totally get an Xbox One. What games do you have coming up? We cut the price by $50. Okay.
Also, I mean, they have the Halo 5 beta starting like Christmas Day.
Are they still trying to get the rest of it working?
Well, yes, there is that.
That will be amazing if the Halo 5 beta works flawlessly and people still can't get Master Chief Collection to work.
It's really too bad. It's really too bad because you've been constantly hearing about, like Assassin's Creed having issues and all these other games, and of course Drive Club being the big debacle that it is, and Microsoft managed to sidestep all of that really well, and then Halo came out.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole Game Awards thing and their just lack of showing. I mean, people say Nintendo is dead and they're the third place, and they really came out swinging with a new Mario Maker trailer that they showed tile sets for Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, and they showed off some more Zelda Wii U. And reconfirmed that it's coming in 2015.
Yeah.
And that you can ride a horse that doesn't run into trees.
And that there may or may not be anything in the world when you do ride around on a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you look at that trailer, there are quite a few cuts made. So, the world may not be as barren as it seems.
Well, even if it is, the game's not done yet. That's just kind of how those things go. But it was a little underwhelming, to be honest.
That's true.
That was interesting. Like all the people that, holy shit, Zelda on the Wii U looks amazing, and I thought it looks exactly like I would think a Zelda on the Wii U would look. Like exactly. Like what were you amazed by on that? How was that not exactly what you pictured it to look like? It looked good.
Yes,
for sure.
But I stopped short of being amazed by it.
Well, I think the amazing part is that it looks like it's actually going to make 2015. So
that actually kind of is amazing. Yeah, if that actually transpires, then yes, that demo was truly amazing.
You didn't like the jump up in the air and bullet time shooting enemies? You didn't like that? You weren't impressed?
Are you not?
It looked good. The game looked good.
Entertained by that?
I thought it looked good. I thought it was funny when Miyamoto said, "Ooh, this is a densely wooded area." It's like, well, there's a tree every 100 yards. I guess that's relatively dense. In comparison to, say, Manhattan, sure.
Compared to Hyrule Field or basically any Zelda environment.
True.
Previously, it's heavily wooded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a goddamn thicket.
I did like the bit where they put the the beacon on the other side of the map, and they sort of zoom out to see how far that actually is, and
Right.
you see like what portion of the map that would cover, and it looks like Zelda Wii U is going to have a very large overworld, which is great.
It does indeed. Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I have total faith in that game.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see still what like the hook is, because each one of them has to have.
It's a hook shot. I don't know if you've played Zelda
shot,
before,
yeah.
but it's
I have
hook shot.
actually, but you know what I mean. Like there's sailing in Wind Waker, or
Right.
there's what is the thing in this one?
Riding a
I
horse.
guess we don't know because there is no
Riding
name
a
for
horse.
it yet, right?
No name. Yeah, we'll find that. We'll find all those details out later. But it was at least good to see something there, right?
Sure.
Hey, the game is not vaporware. It does exist, and it's still
It
coming.
was, and it was cute, and it was interesting also that what you saw was off-screen, 15 feet away
Yeah.
from the camera, not actually direct feed of what you were looking at, which is
Yeah.
what I would really
Although,
like to see.
To be honest, by the end of that show, it was kind of refreshing in a way. Although I don't know, it was kind of funny to sit there and listen to a dub of Miyamoto.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would have preferred that their voices had been dubbed by the lead singer of Imagine Dragons, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so if I'm being honest, up until they started playing, I thought Imagine Dragon was a video game.
Really?
You have literally never heard of Imagine
I have
Dragons.
never
You have
heard
become
of Dragon.
you have become an old man.
I have
Yeah.
because what was
You're
the other one?
older than I am
65?
somehow.
What was the other one
if-
with that really unfortunate song about cops being outside the law or something like that?
Oh,
Or
the Battlefield
for
Hardline.
Battlefield
song?
Hardline?
yeah, whatever that name of that group was too. I'd never heard of them either.
Yeah.
65.
Oh, right. 65
Days
Seconds
of-
of Static. That was
That's
for No Man's
No,
Sky.
that was-
wasn't.
yeah,
Oh, that was No
Battlefield
Man's Sky.
Hardline.
Okay, which
Yeah.
sounded great, but I'd never heard of them.
And that is a great band, by the way. I really enjoy
Really?
that band. That's a shitty band to put on the stage at an award show, because that is like the kind of stuff that you put on in the background when you're working on a spreadsheet, not when you're trying to entertain an audience full of 20-something dudes who are into
Well,
video games.
I
That's
mean,
a
People seem
terrible
to
idea.
really like it.
I mean, let's talk about the show in general because that kind of personified that show, and I'm going to say up front that this was better than anything that's ever been on Spike.
Yes.
I mean, it's the
Okay.
same as what's been on Spike, minus some
Alright.
of the most painful parts.
It's not. It wasn't as openly ridiculous.
Promotional.
Yeah, like somebody
guess.
said, like on Spike, it was like, "Hey, aren't video games silly and stupid?" And let's get a bunch of celebrities up there, and who don't have any clue what they're doing, and they're going to make jokes at the expense of the industry, if nothing else. And it kind of went too far the other way this time. But
There's still
like
kind
what
of
they
some of
tried.
that. Like, it's a little ridiculous when every single person, every quasi-celebrity has to say, "I'm really a gamer," when they
Yeah.
get up there. Like, the
Mhm.
first thing they have to say is, "I'm a gamer." It's almost like saying, "No, I swear I have a friend that's black, so whatever I'm
Yeah.
about to say is okay."
And then, but then you got the, you got you got Boogie up there at one point, and you had
Right.
a bunch of indie devs up there, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's all great, but then that was kind of, and no offense to them, that kind of proved why you normally have celebrities up there giving out awards. Like,
Really? No,
they
you
weren't
think the people
interesting.
watching the Game Awards
know
aren't
what the
familiar
people
with
watching-
Boogie and
I'm not saying they're not familiar. I'm saying, I don't know. I just thought it was, whatever. I don't know. I liked what they were going for. I think this was a good first step away from the Spike Awards.
certainly.
Except that they still can't figure out what this show is. Is it an award
That's my
show, or
biggest
is it
problem.
just a non-stop stream of trailers?
Yes.
And I'm fine
Be
with
one or the
either
other.
one, but I don't know what the hell it is right now.
Yeah, be one or the other, honestly. Like, and I had some conversations on Twitter with people saying, like, if it was just one or the other, it wouldn't do as well. I'm not sure I totally agree with that, but it'd be a hell of a lot less confusing.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, and also they gave out some awards kind of as an aside, right?
Yeah, like developer
Right.
of the
Hey.
year.
Like here with Reggie Fils-Aimé. By the way, you won best sports game of the year
Mhm.
for
I happen to
Mario
have
Kart
this
8.
trophy right here. Here, you have it. The trophies were nice.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
look
what
pretty
were they,
nifty.
Maltese Falcons or something?
I don't know. They're from Weta Workshop,
Maybe.
but But yeah, like that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's way too many trailers for an award show. I mean, for the first 45 minutes, they gave out 2 awards on stage and 2 like, oh, by the ways.
Right.
But like,
Right.
you know, and the other thing I find too is, and again, nothing really against Jeff Keighley so much as like, if you're gonna have the camera on them 100% of the time, put them on the goddamn stage. Like,
Also, don't go extreme close up, like right up their nose with the camera.
yeah, exactly. Like, what was going on with that?
There was a lot of that.
And the weird crowd noise thing was not helping anything.
Well,
either.
the crowd was not mic'd properly at all. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounded like there were about 3 people there cheering most of the time, unless there really were just 3 people cheering.
The biggest
But,
problem that I had with the whole show, just to show how petty I am, I really like Jeff Keighley. I think he is a handsome, attractive, articulate, slim, dignified gentleman. Here's the rule, okay?
Yeah,
if you're
here
wearing a
comes the button thing.
3-button coat,
Yeah.
sometimes, always, never. That's the order of the 3 buttons. Sometimes
Really?
you button the top button. Always you button the middle button. Never do you button the bottom button. If
I
you're
didn't
wearing a
know that.
2-button suit coat, it's always
sometimes,
never.
always, never, always, never.
always,
Okay.
never. You never bottom the fucking bottom button of the suit coat. Ever, ever, ever. Bush League. That's all
Well,
I'm
you
saying.
know, Jeff Keighley does things his own way. He's a rebel.
I guess so. And actually, you shouldn't button that top button if it's going to pull and bind and make you look like you're wearing some kind of crappy, I don't know, Goodwill sport
But
coat. That's
I don't want
crummy.
to. I don't want to
It's
come
horrible.
off. I don't want to come off sounding like we're picking on Jeff Keighley because, I mean,
Jeff
he was pretty much
Keighley's great. I really
yeah.
liked.
He was the one who
Keighley.
pretty much made this happen, and I think he's really good at what he does. But I think he needs to have a single role, and that's in those productions. Like, and he can't be the anchor of the whole thing. He just can't. You can't
Well, yeah,
keep going back to the middle of the venue where half the crowd can't even see him standing in front of a screen. Like, it just doesn't work.
It was like he was the 3G4 correspondent at E3. It's like,
Yeah,
go back
that's
to
exactly what it was. He should have been sitting in a studio somewhere. Like, it was just, you know, and hopefully gets a better production crew next year because that was pretty amateurish, I think.
Yeah.
well,
Pretty good
considering
for a
that
first
it's
effort, though.
It was good for a first effort. Yeah, I don't
Good
want
for
to
a first effort, and also it was very quickly put together, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
When
Which-
was this announced? Like October?
Yeah, which is also maybe a testament to Keighley because he got a whole lot of participation in
Hell yeah, he
did.
not a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
If you can get Trey and Matt there, you know, that's pretty
Best
good.
acceptance speech of the night, by the way.
Yeah.
As I would have
award
probably
for
predicted.
Kevin
But
Spacey.
yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yep.
And also really nice to see some love for Sierra. That was the best segment of the show. Like
That was the best segment of the show by far.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that was, you know, all that great footage and having Ken and Roberta up on stage to talk for a while, like, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
I-
Roberta Williams is adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, God. She is. She's adorable. I thought
Although-
that's great.
Go
I
ahead.
think we were
CJ.
talking on Twitter too that I would want to watch a documentary about Sierra.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And to be how it how it ran during the heyday and then their disappearance very suddenly from the industry. Like
I
I
would
would
love that.
watch that documentary.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That would
Yeah.
be better than digging in the desert.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although the cynic
Sure.
in me was kind of sad that, realizing they were only out on stage so that they could hawk the new version of.
Well, that occurred to me as well. But at least the new one looks interesting, and at least they're making an attempt at bringing it back, which is kind of
Well,
nice.
and you know what it also gave us? It gave us the Neil Druckmann photobomb meme, which I don't know if you've seen.
No.
Thread on NeoGAF, but it is absolutely amazing. Like Neil Druckmann taking a picture of like, because they had that shot. They showed like him taking a picture of Ken and Roberta Williams during their speech
Really?
on stage. So now there's like various things with like screenshots and various other images with Neil Druckmann taking like a stealth picture with his mobile phone. It's great. It's great. You should check that thread on.
And
on
to be
Gallon.
fair,
Cool.
I would have done the same thing if I was sharing
Totally.
space with. I mean, like
Oh, yeah.
as far as my gaming education, the PC side of it was all Sierra games. It was all their
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even more so than LucasArts for me, Sierra Games.
same here.
For sure.
Yeah.
Fucking Police Quest. Why don't they give me another Police Quest?
Man, I love Police Quest.
That's not some Daryl Gates SWAT bullshit.
Yeah, that series went to hell when he took over.
But wouldn't it be like? Wouldn't it be something like Battlefield Hardline with Activision?
Careful now.
In the driver's
Careful
seat.
now. Easy.
I gotta
easy.
say too, how completely tone deaf that whole Battlefield Hardline
That
part.
was real bad.
How do you not take that out of the running order, or just get people to say something a little different when they're up there? Like,
I don't. If I were EA, I would have just taken it out.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, as much as that would hurt, it is the worst time possible to talk about being a cop on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, bring the game out and all
Take
that
the
stuff.
law into your own hand. Oh.
Don't do that.
No.
That was painful.
Not at all. What about Jeff Keighley's comment about Game of Thrones, where he said like,
Oh, a little Peter Dinklage.
a little Peter Dinklage.
Oh my god.
Funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the whole, I thought the show was very good for a first effort. I hope they continue it up, polish it up for next year.
I can't wait for the world premiere of the second year of the Video Game Awards.
I mean, the thing that's weird is, so we're in the first week of December and we're giving awards as like best of the year to games that came out like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Does that strike anybody else as a little strange?
It is weird, but not as weird as the thing that Greg is joking about, which is world premieres of things that we've seen 5 times. Here's the world premiere of this particular snippet of video from this game you've seen 6 times already.
Yeah.
I have to say, I had a great time live snarking that. I really
It's pretty good.
But I do agree with you. I think it's a great first step, and I really can't wait to see how it goes when they have a proper amount of prep time. Hopefully, it should be good. It should be.
And I thought at least the stream I was watching, I watched the YouTube stream, and it held up perfectly. Like I didn't have a single problem with it the entire night.
Did you hear about what happened on the PlayStation Network?
No.
So you had to get an app to watch it on the PlayStation 4. You had to get the live event viewer, right?
Great.
And the way that works is that you have to buy kind of a ticket for whatever the event is that you want to watch. And of course, the ticket was free. But the best part was that the ticket expired at, I think it's supposed to expire at midnight. It was only good for the 6th anyway. But the problem is that any of us on the East Coast, the event went past the 6th.
Oh,
but the
boy.
ticket was no good. So I'm sitting there watching it, but it was weird because it actually went off, I think, at 11. I don't know if it was midnight. But anyway, it was 11 or midnight. Suddenly, the stream just died. What the hell's going on? And then I tried to reload it, and I go to the ticket, and it says it's expired. Like, but there's still 2 hours left of the show. And it's because I think that the ticket was a universal good until midnight style ticket.
That's funny.
No matter where you were in the world.
Oops.
So I had that happen, and then I think TJ Lauerman, I think the same thing happened to him. It was just something that was happening across the PSN. So I ended up watching it on Twitch after that. But
I watched it on Xbox.
Oh, look at you.
see, the live was down at first, so I switched over to PSN.
Well, at least you got some Microsoft representation, CJ.
Yeah.
Throughout that show.
Barely.
Yeah.
Can we talk about No Man's Sky for a second here? Because I want to say that I know everybody loves
Here we go.
No Man's Sky. I think,
Even better
I get it. I get it. But every time they show it, they're basically showing takeoff and landing on a planet and nothing else. And I hope that it's not. That doesn't mean that the game is being overhyped for nothing, but I really just don't know what the game part of that game is.
Yeah,
and
nobody
it
knows
worries
what it
me
is
a
yet.
little bit.
So having a quote infinite number of planets with different life on all of them, and that sounds great. Except that then what do you do with that?
Yeah.
I just need to know what you do with that. Even just a hint. Just tell me sort of kind of what I'll be doing other than looking at stuff, which I'm fine with. I like games where you just look at stuff, I guess, but it's hard to understand the level of enthusiasm or the way that people are willing to extrapolate or give them the benefit of the doubt, having seen absolutely nothing about how it plays. That part is a little bit mystifying.
I'm excited about the game because I know how it plays in my head.
Well, that's
Exactly.
Until they tell me it's
Exactly.
not going to be that way, then I'm excited about it.
That's why everyone is excited about that game, because in their brain it is a certain kind of game, and I'm willing to bet that it's not that game.
Probably. You're probably right. But until they say that, I'm all for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when it becomes the thing that the internet doesn't like, it'll be amazing to watch the fallout.
That will be an abrupt about face for sure.
Yeah.
It looks neat though, and I do like that music.
neat.
I think that band is
Absolutely.
an appropriate choice. I love like sort of the visual style and the color palette and everything they've chosen for it. I just don't understand. I mean, I just need to be shown that it's more than a screensaver, basically.
Yeah.
I like screensavers. I hope that one of the planets has flying toasters. Let's be clear, but
Oh, those were the days.
Amazing.
No Man's Sky After Dark.
That's what that was called. I'm
Yeah,
sitting
it's
here
called
trying to
After
remember what that was. Yeah,
Yep.
After
Yeah.
Dark.
Whatever
You-
happened to the company that did After Dark?
What happened was you didn't have to buy software to have a screensaver
Yeah.
anymore.
I had the Simpsons screensaver at one point, which was really just like an After Dark plug-in.
Hmm.
It was great.
Till Microsoft ruined it by including screensavers in Windows.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Microsoft.
Well, I had the Mac version, though.
Oh well, that explains it.
Yeah. So after the Game Awards, we had the PlayStation Experience, a
I gotta-
two-day event.
I got to admit something here.
What's that?
I haven't watched 1 second of the PlayStation Experience stuff.
Greg, you didn't watch any of the keynote?
I tried. I've tried, and the only place I could find that supposedly has it was Twitch, and the damn thing just will not run. I've listened to the mashups at the beginning of the show before the actual event started about 100 times, but I couldn't actually get footage for some reason.
I didn't watch the keynote. I just watched the trailers.
It was their best E3 press conference ever. It
So
was.
But
You
it
say that
was
as a-
still. But it was still 2 hours plus long, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It
but
was like-
every single second was, let us show you a game. There was no
Really? No
jerking
numbers,
off to
no
sales
spreadsheets?
numbers. There was no,
Really?
there was no,
See,
no, there was none of that. It was like opening a fire hydrant full of games and just blasting it directly into a cornhole.
I don't know. When I come to a PlayStation press conference, I'm there for the PowerPoint.
The
presentation.
one exception to that, and it was so awesome that it didn't matter, is they did a short 20-year retrospective of the PlayStation done in Little Big Planet, and
I
that
did
was
see that.
really adorable
Oh my
and
God,
pretty
you-
cool.
Must have been
Yeah.
all over that.
It was great. I had priapism the entire time. It was
Did they let you download it and use it and play with it?
No, it was just part of their keynote. They just showed a video of it, and it was great. It was really cool. It was like they started back at the PlayStation and showed PlayStation games, but done in Little Big
Little Big
Planet.
Planet.
So
Right on.
the Little Big
It's up
Planet
on,
guys doing Wipeout, and
It's up on
It was
YouTube.
really cool.
It's up on YouTube.
You should
That's
definitely
cool.
watch it because
It's
it's
great.
cool.
Since I'm never gonna play Little Big Planet 3,
Son of a bitch.
Well, they opened the show with 15 minutes of Uncharted 4 gameplay.
Gameplay. Yep. Not
minutes.
not like a cutscene. It was just them playing the game.
Oh,
and just in case you thought they were not playing the game, there was a part where they glitched and fell through the world. Unless that was also scripted, but either way, they were playing the
I
game.
think they took that. They must have taken that out of the YouTube version because I did not see that.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, they were playing,
No.
and there was a part where he fell to his death, and instead he kept falling through the world like endlessly,
Oh, amazing.
like it was all glitched out.
Love when that
But
happens.
then they came back and it was all good. But if that is actually how that game looks and plays, holy shit. I'm
It's
pretty
great.
excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, while watching it, I was like, well, crap, now I really have to go back and play Uncharted 1 because I'm not going to want to play that at all once I've played number 4.
Why
Does
do you
it-
need to
How
go
have
back
you
and play
looked-
Uncharted 1?
It looks so damn... Well, because I've not finished. That's the only one I've not finished.
Eh.
Yeah? No?
Do you want?
maybe
Do you
not,
want? Do you want to finish it? You're not under any sort of moral or ethical obligation to
CJ
finish it.
kind of is.
No,
It's
not really.
self-imposed,
But
And the end of that game is kind of bullshit.
yeah, yes.
okay.
But the ending cutscenes of it are pretty great. So I think that to quote finish the game, you should just
Go to
watch it on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
that 15 minutes looked great.
It looked
Really damn great.
It looked exactly like what I want out of that game. Exactly like Uncharted, but everything looked visually much denser and deeper and richer, and then they just added enough new little gameplay tweaks to make it fun. Like that grappling hook thing, that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. There's a part, Greg, where there are some limbs and outcroppings and things that have a little button prompt where you can throw a grappling hook and kind of swing around them. So there's a part where he starts to fall, throws the grappling hook, it grabs a branch, he swings around, there's a guy on a ledge below him, and he comes down and takes the guy out, then whips out his gun and starts shooting the guys across from him, and it just looks ridiculous.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Gameplay demos like this, though, and the Assassin's Creed demos also make me think, like, nobody actually plays this game like this. Like, they're playing very intentionally to make it look
Sure.
cinematic and all that stuff. Oh, God.
Being invaded.
Being invaded.
She's so happy when she's not allowed in there most of the time, is she?
She's giddy. She's like, I'm
So
going to
excited
trash
when
this
she gets in
dump.
there.
I don't know.
I'll
I
be
thought
back.
that
I'll be
the
right back.
combat sections pretty much looked like the way people play Uncharted. It was ducking
Yeah.
behind cover and shooting dudes a million times before they finally die.
Waist
So
high
if you
cover.
don't look how adorable she is, that's fucking hilarious.
She dancing?
Exactly. I'll be back in just 1 second.
She's so sweet.
But the coolest part, this is a spoiler, although it's not a spoiler if it's just the trailer, right?
Right.
At the toward the end of the trailer, he finally catches up with the guy who he's been chasing for this entire 15-minute segment, and they have a little back and forth banter. And at the end of it, the other guy that he's talking to calls him little brother, and that was kind of cool. So the guy that he's been trying to track down is his big brother, voiced by Troy Baker. So you get Troy Baker and Nolan North
Nolan North
in the same game. It's amazing.
That game's going to cause a black hole when it comes out. It's just like all other games will be drawn into it.
Yep. If Jennifer Hale voices one of the female characters, then that completes the Holy Trinity.
That's awesome.
It looks. You need to watch that 15 minutes worth
yeah.
of gameplay footage though, because it is gorgeous. Like the density of the foliage and the way the light, plays off of it and the way it moves around. Just everything looks.
So he's in a
brilliant.
jungle the whole time, is he? Or
Pretty much, more or less. Yeah.
that's
Jungle
ballsy.
/ cliffs and whatnot. Yeah, and it is densely, like Miyamoto would call it a densely wooded area, I believe. if you were to ask him, I
For
think
sure.
he would characterize it as a densely wooded area. The animation is pretty spectacular too. Like as good as it is in Uncharted, 1, 2, 3, it's clearly been amplified in this demo. It looks beautiful.
True.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. And I hope that Elena is back. Otherwise, I'm going to be super sad.
Yeah, she's a
too.
great character.
She's my favorite.
So what were some of the other standouts at PlayStation Experience?
It seems silly to say because a lot of them are already released on other platforms, but I was pretty happy to see that there are, a dozen, 15, 20 titles coming to the Vita, which is pretty cool.
Really?
Shovel Knight and a whole bunch.
Just
Shovel
tons
Knight
and
would be a
tons
great
of
video
ports.
game.
Yeah,
Good.
new Resogun.
And how about
What
Day of
about,
the Tentacle coming to PS4 and Vita? Greg should be happy
Yes.
about that.
Now, because that's two classic LucasArts games that I've never played.
Really? You never
Coming
played Day
out.
of the Tentacle? Or Grim Fandango?
I've never played either of them.
God
Nope.
dang, you're in for some good adventure gaming, my man.
And Grim
I'm
Fandango
super
comes
excited about those games.
out in January.
It does. Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That game is excellent. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And Day of the Tentacle is excellent as well.
I would like to play that game. I have never played it. I did
Lots
not
of
have a
good
PC.
Vita stuff. There's some stuff that I looked at and thought, why does anyone care about that, or does anyone care about that? Like Metal Gear Online. Does anyone care about Metal Gear Online?
No.
Okay, good enough. Does Kojima even care about Metal Gear Online?
Of course not, but I'm sure he likes money.
Yeah.
You know who else likes money? Is Square Enix. So much so that they
Oh my God.
are apparently not even trying when it comes to the port to PS4 of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, yeah. So explain this to me because I saw people bitching.
I love
about
the way that got cock teased too. I mean, he comes out there and shows the Final Fantasy VII logo, and people lose their goddamn minds because
course,
they
yes.
know what he's about to announce, and what he actually announces is we're bringing the kind of quasi crappy PC port over to the PS4.
Oh.
Enjoy.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So all those characters are still going to be composed of about 7 polygons, but enjoy that.
I just don't get why everyone wants Final Fantasy VII remade. It was an okay game. I don't know why everyone thinks it was so great.
I don't think it's aged well, but that's
Oh,
even going to
God,
be
no.
more. That's going to be even more evident. when
Yeah.
you're playing
It's
the PC
hilarious.
port of Final Fantasy VII. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where a couple years ago, even like 2003, 2004, when people really wanted a PS2 upgrade of Final Fantasy VII, Square kept saying, "Oh no, that'd be too big a project. We just can't remaster." I mean, how do you improve greatness? Really, you can't. But you look at what other companies have done with HD remasters, and some of those are just stunning. And then to have like a PS1 era RPG get re-released with absolutely no attention paid to improving the graphics, or are they going to improve the translation? Who knows?
I would think that's true, though. I mean,
mind-blowing.
it would be a lot of work to do something
sure.
good with Final Fantasy VII because it is just so old, and
Sure.
everything would have to be re-rendered, everything would have
That's
to
right.
be remade. But yeah.
But you also know that people want it, right? You know that there's a market for it. You at every trade show since 2001, you've been asked, like, when are you going to remake Final Fantasy VII? Like, you can't, at a certain point, you just can't ignore that. And to ignore it in such a way, it's like, oh, we know you guys have been asking for this, so here you go. Is just,
I really have to watch this press conference for that moment then.
It was pretty
it's just
good.
ridiculous.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was good stuff. And it was, of course, delivered in, awkward, broken English as well, which makes it even better.
We did get, so Yakuza 5 is coming out.
It's coming out here?
In the U.S., yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I believe the zombie one's coming out too. I forget the name of that.
Yeah, I care less about that. But
Oh,
I'm
Dead Souls.
interested in Yakuza 5.
Oh, I guess those are already available, but not on PSN. Those Yakuza 4 and Yakuza Dead Souls are now available to download. Yakuza 5 is not going to be a retail release. It's going to be digital only,
Oh, good.
which has some people upset because they want a physical release.
See,
But-
in situations like that, like I would personally prefer a physical release, but in situations like that where it seems like the publisher can't justify
That's exactly what it
physical
is.
release, yes, bring it out digitally, please.
Yeah. If it's a question of not getting it at all or
Right.
getting it digital only, fine, I'll take it.
Totally.
I mean, it was the same deal with what was the Phoenix Wright that came out recently, where it was digital only. It's like, well, after trying to sell retail on 4 different versions of this game previously, that it just hasn't worked, then this is the only way.
Yeah.
To get it to the people who want it.
That's totally the way. That's totally the way that should be used.
But then if you say, oh, well, I'm a huge fan of Yakuza, I'm not going to buy Yakuza 5 because there's no physical release. It's like, well, then basically you're just playing into the hand of, never releasing these games again in English. Yeah. Should we talk about David Jaffe?
They're working really hard though to get some of those older, revered titles on Sony systems, like Suikoden 1 and 2 are coming now too.
Oh,
which
I
is
read that
pretty
too.
cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
especially
that's
because Suikoden 2
sweet.
has not been re-released in English at all. I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
So that's huge
This
in
week.
and of itself. But this week, yeah, and anyone who hasn't played those, you like Japanese RPGs? Those are 2 of the best.
They're very good.
Yeah. That is true. And we had a new Vita Vita game from Drinkbox Studios.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Severed game,
Which-
which looks kind of like a Fruit Ninja-esque action game.
With a guacamole art style or something. But
Yeah.
I buy anything that Dreambox makes
Yeah.
at this point automatically.
They've definitely earned the buy first, ask questions later.
Totally.
The place the Telltale used to live in my heart.
Yeah. And the guy who
Fox
has not
Studios.
done that is
Uh,
David Jaffe, right?
Yeah.
Oof. That game.
Why? What?
So he was the grand finale of the PlayStation Experience keynote. Ladies and gentlemen, creator of God of War, David Jaffe, to introduce his new game, Drawn to Death, which is an arena-based shooter with
Good.
an art style that is like an 8th grader's, lined sketchbook.
This is what he drew on his Trapper Keeper 20 years ago. Is that?
That's exactly what this is. Yeah, the characters are like, inspired by what some 8th grader would draw on his notebook. And that's what the art style is, and that's about the level of sophistication of the entire thing. And it looks rough.
Really?
It does.
That's
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. And I can't figure out why, if at some point when your title is creative director, you have to do something that's not an arena shooter. I think that's just a rule. Like, you need to break out of that at some point and do something that's not Calling All Cars or Twisted Metal or this.
Or
I'd forgotten about Calling All Cars.
What about
Yeah.
War of the Monsters? Oh wait.
Was that him?
Mm.
That wasn't
Was
him.
that- That wasn't him, was it?
War of the Monsters was David Jaffe. Yeah.
No. it
Really?
wasn't.
No way.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't know what you're talking about.
I'm 60% sure.
I'm going to risk.
Ooh,
I'm gonna
60%.
risk. I'm going to risk crashing my browser to go look that up.
I'm fairly certain that he was involved in it.
But the new game looks rough, and he got up on stage and said they told me I could cuss, and the way that
Oh,
he
God.
utilized the ability to cuss was to use the word fucktard, which,
That's offensive.
aside
But
from
not
being
because he said
offensive,
fuck.
just makes you sound stupid.
Hmm.
I tweeted something about that and got some abuse from a Gamergate person who was upset that I would take offense to anyone using the word fucktard.
Mhm.
Sorry.
All right then.
Yeah.
One of them. You're right. War of the Monsters was Incognito Entertainment.
That's right, David Jaffe.
I did not remember that.
I'll be damned.
I was right.
Based in Salt Lake City.
An arena fighter.
Yep.
That's right.
We need to get that boy
Um,
out of arenas and into something even remotely interesting.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about just the PlayStation Experience show itself. I am pretty impressed with what I heard coming out of there. They had booths for a lot of indie developers showing off their PS4, Vita, etc. games, and they did a ton of panels. And
Yeah.
this isn't like PAX or GDC or E3. I mean, this was like consumer focused panels on these games. It was just a really, really great idea to do this kind of event.
A great and scary idea. I mean, is this further evidence that,
Yeah,
why do we need games media at
Yeah.
all? If we can
Yeah, well,
host our own event, control the message,
Yeah,
all of
that's
that.
Well,
exactly
hell, that's
it.
what
Yeah.
Nintendo was doing for years and years and years in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think next year, let's see if if Microsoft has their own Xbox Expo.
The other thing,
Yeah.
the other thing you worry about from a developer standpoint is, oh my God, another show.
Yeah.
Well, that's
How many demo builds can I
Yeah.
make in
How
1
many-
year?
Yeah, exactly. How many shippable quality demo builds do we have to deal with every year now?
Yeah. Well, we have another Penny Arcade Expo now in San Antonio, I think,
San Antone.
in January, and
Yeah.
then we have PAX East, PAX Prime, GDC.
CES, GDC.
Do they still do the PAX in
E3.
Australia as well?
Yeah,
Oh
PAX
yeah,
Australia,
maybe PAX
Japan.
Australia.
Jesus Christ.
So I mean, and Gamescom, GDC Next, Indiecade. Like once you start totaling all this stuff up, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of shows.
E3.
for sure.
The
E3.
to be announced this year, PAX Bangladesh, which is going to be big, I think.
Nice.
Yes, I'm sure that'll be popular. Yeah, so I'm very impressed though with what I saw of the event.
It was great. I mean, that, like I said, that I'm not kidding. That keynote was probably the best keynote they've had in a few E3s at least.
And
it was just games. That was it.
If you saw any of the pictures of the show floor there, I mean, it looked friggin' huge.
Yeah.
The keynote area was also friggin' huge.
Yeah, it was.
So, I mean, great to have. Las Vegas has the space for this type of venue. There have been, multiple gaming events in Vegas anyway on the PC side of things. So, yeah, this is great. I want to see this type of thing continue, for sure.
Yeah, very cool.
And I would like to go to the next one, but we'll see.
Maybe they'll have one in
Vegas.
Atlanta.
Yeah,
PlayStation Experience Atlanta, PlayStation Experience San Antonio.
Maybe E3 will come back to Atlanta.
Oh, God.
The last
Oh,
ditch.
boy.
God, I hated that.
Yeah. What was that? That was like 17 years ago at this point?
I think 97 was
Jesus
last year. It was
Christ.
in Atlanta, wasn't it?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's 17 years ago. Holy crap.
God,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago. Man.
After E3 left Atlanta, I don't know if maybe I've told this story on the show. I vowed never ever to return to Atlanta ever again. The city, hated the weather.
I'm right there with you. Although you live
I
there
hated
now, but
everything.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
hated everything about Atlanta when I went there.
And then it turned out that I moved when I moved in with Adrian, we were in a condo that was like 2 blocks away from the hotel we used to stay at for E3
Of course it was.
Atlanta. Because
Fantastic.
CJ
course
could
it
just
is.
look out the window and envision the debauchery of the Ziff Davis Hotel Suites.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, successful event.
I think so.
And I'm excited about the order. Is that bad that I'm excited about the order 1880?
Man,
Going back and forth on the order. Part of me, I really, really, really want it to be good. But I don't know. Every time I see it, I'm like, yeah.
I mean, a lot of times it's enough for something to be a bog standard rehash of a game you've already played if it is so visually spectacular that that compensates for any sort of shortcomings that it might have in the gameplay, which is what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like 15 other games that I've played, but man,
Sure.
it looks really good doing it. So that might be enough.
And
It
its
might
setting
be.
is the setting is going to be that'll make or break it. I think
Right.
it
The
could be
setting is definitely
extremely
interesting.
cool. Yeah.
The camera though in that demo, I was having a really hard time getting used to. I mean, it swings around like crazy, and maybe that's just the person playing it, but I was getting a little bit dizzy from all of the camera sway and swing and bob.
Yeah. What about Until Dawn? Do you see the trailer for that?
That's my kind of game. I mean, I like shit like Heavy Rain and
Yeah.
Beyond Two Souls and that kind of thing. So
but
why
wasn't
not?
wasn't it a little too much on the like torture porn horror movie angle?
Well,
of
that's what it's
things?
going
Well,
for.
it is a horror
I mean-
movie turned into a game.
Yes, that's true. But I feel like it's well, I don't know. I feel
Is
like
it
it's
really?
going once.
Is it really based on a movie or?
No.
No.
It's based on that genre. I mean,
Okay.
it's based on
Saw.
like Friday the 13th or something like that.
No,
I'm with you
no.
because I'm.
I don't even.
What?
You should watch. You should watch the gameplay. Not just the teaser trailer, but the gameplay that they showed.
Well, the gameplay that they showed in the keynote looked like a Friday the
Saw.
13th movie, not like a Saw
Oh,
movie.
okay. Well, all right.
The
A
one
Saw
that they
movie is
showed-
someone trapped trying to make a decision between two horribly grotesque ways of killing someone, and this was a
I guess
chick
you're
running from a guy in a scary clown mask.
Well, that's true.
The footage they showed in the video game awards, because they did have a trailer there too. I'm with you. I mean, I'm totally all about like the Heavy Rain and that sort of thing, but I have to say it really kind of killed it when you have the dude in the clown mask making his big debut, and then he stands still
While you make your decision.
Well, you make your decisions like it can't
Yeah.
be like that. It can't be
But
like
you
that.
know,
Well, it's that or get
horror of
frustrated that you
moment.
have to make a decision so quickly that you get
Mm.
killed every time. So
exactly.
you
The true horror of that moment is watching the little gauge around the button press that you have to make disappear. Like that's where the tension is ratcheted up.
I have to say
exact
though,
moment.
I have wrapped a towel around my waist many times, and while it's relatively secure as I move about the bathroom, shaving and whatnot, I don't think running at full speed away from a guy in a scary clown mask that the towel would remain intact without some sort of external fastener to make that a possibility. So I'm intrigued to find out what she uses in that game to make the towel stay. That's the biggest
That's what you're gonna play
mystery
it for.
for me.
You're gonna,
Absolutely,
yeah.
yes.
Well,
I have to
they-
find out what's holding that towel on.
For the demo's purposes, they had to cut out the areas where they have the press X to readjust towel.
Press X to drop
tuck.
towel. That's how you shock the guy in the clown mask.
Well, I don't know. So everything is X in the game. I don't know if you noticed that. Like you tilt the DualShock to make the decision,
And then they're both X?
they're both X. Yeah. So
Huh.
one of the really interesting moments was in the gameplay demo that I saw. You had to stay still. The killer was like right behind you or whatever, and it put up a picture of the light bar on the PS4, and you had to stay within the box.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Interesting.
What about all those
Kind
people
of
who have their light
terrifying.
bars covered up?
Well, they're not going to get to play this.
I will play that game. I feel like that is a kind of a genre that has been not really represented at all in video games.
That Santa
Yes.
Claus behind you looks like it belongs in that genre.
He does have a knife.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about survival horror games in general, or are you talking about
No, like something similar to a horror movie. A traditional 80s style Friday the 13th,
Slasher.
Halloween,
yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Teenagers in peril who
The kind I
will
used to
be-
watch when I was a kid just because I knew I was going to see boobs.
there were going to be some boobs. At
Yep.
some point there will
Always.
be boobs.
Always.
Yes.
I don't like horror movies. Don't really like slasher
Yeah.
picks, but there were always boobs.
I'm willing to watch all manner of severed arteries and
Yeah.
spurts of blood if I can just see some boobs.
It's like, yeah. Anyway, we don't go deep down that well.
Yeah. Tell us more. I think we can go about 5 minutes without seeing some boobs.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
What else
All
is
right.
at the museum?
I guess we should talk about the 20th anniversary PlayStation 4 in this as
Or
well.
a PlayStation 1.
Apparently going for $2,000, are they?
Something like that. Yeah, so Sony announced a PS4 that has the classic PS1 color scheme on it earlier in the week. And they mentioned that they would be available in limited quantities online and at the PlayStation Experience. They were only making 12,300 units. And
10,000 of which went to the gaming press.
did any go for free to the gaming press? I'm not sure about that. Maybe.
I haven't heard that.
And they also introduced a PS1 theme for your PS4,
Mhm.
which makes the old era sound effect at boot up and all that good stuff. So, were you guys tempted at all?
No. I own a
Yeah,
PS4.
I don't understand people that already own the console
Yeah.
that want the other console. Like if you don't have a
But-
console, totally I would go for that one. But
Sure.
I already have a console.
But what about buying that console, transferring all of your stuff onto the new one, and then selling off your old one?
I honestly am so
No.
glad that all 3 consoles this generation are black. Just because I think everything looks so much. It does. My entertainment center doesn't look Dayglow anymore, so I'm really happy
Yeah.
with that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I easily skipped out on this one. Yeah, I like the PS1,
It's
but
cool.
you know. Yeah, and I have all of my systems on a shelf that are, it's not really. I'm not interacting with the actual console all that often, if ever. So
It's
I
the
don't
beauty
care.
of the current generation. You never have to touch those things ever.
it's right. And I don't know, did you guys take advantage of the EA PlayStation 20th anniversary sale thing they have going, where Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is free for the PS4?
Yep, I've done my download. I have not played it yet, but I am eager to.
That game
I already played
is
that
awesome.
game.
I already did too, but I downloaded it on the PS4 anyway, and it's still just as good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
That's enough.
Mirror's Edge is nice. That game's been gone for a while. For the PS3, if you're still playing.
And Need for Speed on the Vita.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my Vita now. That's the only one I actually did download.
Yeah.
It's installing. I hated the console version, but hey, I might like the PS Vita version.
I think it's the exact same game.
I hated that version.
You'll have fun with that. All right, should we talk about what we've been playing? Because I have been playing Forza Horizon.
I'm excited about this.
Yes. I hemmed and hawed about it. I watched a lot of videos, a lot of Twitch streams of this game.
Did you watch some?
I did, and I thought about which driving game I should get this holiday season, because I do like driving games, but I am generally terrible at them most of the time. So if I get one, it has to be one that that sort of makes up for how bad I am at it.
What about Sports Game of the Year, Mario Kart 8?
What was that about?
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately great game.
Sure.
Kind of weird that it was competing against NBA 2K.
Right.
And MLB.
We've got all these judges here, and we asked them, do you play any sports games? And they all said,
Mario Kart.
No. Okay, well, we're throwing Mario Kart in this category.
Well, to me, that's similar. We're talking about the Game Awards now.
Yeah.
Again, by the way.
Sorry.
When they combine mobile games and handheld games in the same category.
Yeah, that was weird too.
It seems wrong as well to put sports and racing in one category, and then have Mario Kart 8 win that category.
Yeah.
So. But wait, what were we talking about? Forza Horizon 2.
Yes.
Get back to
the true greatest racing game of the year. Yes.
Yeah. So I looked at Drive Club. That game had its problems. I looked at The Crew and played the beta of that. That had its problems as well.
And I looked at the retail version of The Crew and I took it back today.
All right. And it seemed, I liked Forza Horizon on the Xbox 360 quite a bit, and said, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. Stewie has talked it up. I've heard good things. Let's play it. And I gotta say,
Stewie has talked it up. Then I went and talked to some people I actually respect, and they all said it was pretty good.
Exactly. Other podcasters,
random Twitch streamers.
I asked some guy at GameStop, and he said, "Oh yeah, pretty good.
Oh yeah,
it's a good game." So I downloaded that on Friday or Thursday night, along with Captain Toad Treasure Tracker at the same time.
God, I don't have my copy of that yet. I'm so excited for that.
Oh yeah. So Forza Horizon 2, I'm not a driving aficionado at all. I like games that show me a list of cars, maybe recommend me a car, let me jump in and immediately start racing. And guess what? That's exactly what Forza Horizon 2 allows you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to mess around with anything. However, there is that stuff if you want to do that, but you don't have to. And actually, one of the interesting points about jumping in 2 months after the game came out is now there are a lot of drivatars of gamer tags that I know that I'm driving against, which is fantastic. Although for some reason with each race, or at least for some of the races, it would put me as my own rival, and that was a little bit weird.
That's odd.
That's clearly a bug. But this game is pretty great, and I was able to again saying how it was out. It's been out for a month or two at this point. There are a lot of car customizations and paint jobs that you can scroll through, and I have a Lucario version of one of my cars. Lucario is a Pokemon.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't. I had no idea.
In case you thought it was an Indy 500 driver, which it kind of sounds like.
Yeah, it does sound like, yeah.
Lucario.
Enrico Lucario.
I also appreciated, I played the original Horizon, but I'm not sure they did this. Maybe they did, and I just am misremembering. But the way that they have it sectioned, where you go from city to city, and they give you 4 events per, and
that's new.
that's really great.
Yeah.
I like that approach. It is an open world game, but when you're sort of in each city, it feels like its own self-contained thing. You're not like driving forever to get to the next event, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's that's like in the original game they had that main hub, which was the festival, and sort of everything branched out from there. And what they've done in this new game is they've got multiple hubs.
Yep.
They still have a main one, but they've got multiple hubs, which is the different cities, and then you have sort of more localized events. I like it too. Plus, it breaks up the action a little bit better. Where like Forza Horizon, what originally happened sooner or later was you're just driving out to find a new event constantly. Whereas
Exactly.
in this one, it's like, okay, the day's over, we're going to take a road trip, and you don't have to win, you don't have to even go really fast.
No, you don't.
Go for the drive.
Enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, and it's a really nice touch, and it introduces different gameplay elements. So you'll notice like the first time you ever did any rally racing was actually one of those road trips.
Yeah.
When there was
I
no
like it
pressure.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like, pick your car for these next events, and the way that we're going to get to the next one is going to be, over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. And then you'll be racing around cornfields and such, and it was great. And man, this game looks really, really pretty.
That it does.
So it is one of the best looking games I've seen. It's
And how great is it that you're not worried about, getting into a police chase for 20 minutes before you save your game,
exactly,
crashing,
yes,
destroying your car, or anything like that.
Well, the other thing that I appreciate, of course, is being able to rewind whenever you make a ridiculous mistake, which I make a lot of. So, so that's great too. So yeah, if you are a casual racing game fan and you're looking for something, Forza Horizon, I should have known since I played the first game, but it goes without saying that this is a fantastic driving game.
Yes,
I love it. In fact, I'm in the P1 clan already.
Fantastic.
So I bought it on Friday and got up to that point where I could join the clan, and I think I played about 3 or 4 races past that, but yeah, having a blast with it.
It's awesome. I'm getting back into that once I'm really I want to unlock all the characters in Super Smash Brothers on Wii U, and what I was doing was going through and trying to like in those games you can legitimately unlock characters by doing specific tasks, like beat this mode 5 times on hard or something like that. But if you just do enough single events, all those characters eventually will show up, and you can fight them to get them to join. So I had been doing it the former way originally, but then my kids really got into the game, so I've been letting them play like crazy, and I think they've got all but one character unlocked now for me. So, yeah, it's great. Which really means I let them play too many video games this weekend, but I'm okay with that because, I exploited them to unlock all the characters in my game.
Seems legit.
Why else would you have children? Really?
That's right. So I've also been playing Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Talk to me.
So Captain Toad's adventures in Mario 3D World last year are what inspired this game, and you can tell. A lot of the sound effects they didn't even change. Like a lot of it's clearly based on the engine. That
I was gonna say it looks like it's the same engine completely.
It's the same engine, but at least. As far as I've been playing, I played through Mario 3D World and all those Captain Toad levels, but the levels in Treasure Tracker just seem a lot more involved and a lot cooler. They're bigger, and it's just this game Nintendo's the hell out of.
You did not just do that. I want to murder you right now. Cold-blooded, ice-cold, jugular, spurting murder.
This game Nintendo's hard.
God damn it.
No, it's just thoroughly lovable. Captain Toad himself is just a lovable character. I think two of the buttons on the gamepad turn his little headlamp on and off, or makes him like make a little sound.
Okay.
So,
you know, this game is very joyful.
Do you remember when Charlotte came in the room recently and how she was giggling and sounded so happy?
Yeah, no
That's how
kidding.
CJ sounds when he's playing this game.
I have a button that does something stupid.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of
What do
a
you-
button that does this.
What do you mean? In Mario Kart 8, you can use the touchscreen to honk the horn. I'm in.
Oh my god.
Amazing use of the controller.
That's right. It's a great Wii U game. So yeah, I've played maybe like 15 or 16 levels into Treasure Tracker, and it's just a thoroughly fun game. It's got personality to spare. I mean, it's a
Here's
beautiful game.
the thing I don't get about it, and obviously I'm speaking from a point of abject ignorance as a non-Wii U owner.
As usual.
$40
And a
bucks.
Nintendo hater as well.
I'm not a Nintendo hater. I'm mostly a Nintendo. I don't exactly understand what all the fuss is about her.
Okay.
But that's a really long
Spoken like someone
hyphenated
who hasn't
word.
played Mario Kart 8.
But $40.
$40. Yeah. Yeah, I have nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean,
Okay, because I've heard
It,
like 2 or 3 hours you can be done with that thing.
I have not heard that. I mean, I've heard people say that well.
I think
What am I
what Mike's
trying to
saying
say
is
here?
I think what Mike's saying is 2 or 3 hours he would have had enough. of that thing.
Right.
No. I heard someone say that they could like 100% it in around 5
What?
hours. That's what I heard.
Well, somehow I doubt that. I
Okay.
mean, there is really there's kind of a lot.
This is the
going
episode
on.
where CJ calls Jeff Gerstmann a liar.
Well, here's the thing. What is your definition of 100%ing a game? If your
I
definition
think it
of
means
100%,
getting all 3 of the thingamabobs on every level.
so there's all 3 of the thingamabobs on every level. There's also in each stage a secret hidden golden mushroom.
Wait,
And,
it's both secret and hidden?
That's
Son of a
right.
bitch. Oh my god.
And then there's also like a stage-specific requirement to get like a check mark, which is, I guess, the equivalent of getting like a gold star in kindergarten on the board. It's things like
Just Nintendo the hell out of that description.
Nintendo's the hell out of it.
Oh god.
No, it's things like killed all the enemies on the stage, only use the cannon once in levels where you can use like a cannon to shoot all the enemies and whatnot. Special things that are sort of extra challenges in there. So I don't think you could get through all of that in 2 or 3 hours unless you already knew what you were doing. But
And I think we all know Jeff Gerstmann doesn't know what he's doing.
I mean, you could certainly get all 3 gems in each stage and just blow through the thing. I think you could do that probably. But
I'm
anyway.
just telling you what I heard. Let me be clear. I don't care.
You don't care.
just so
Exactly.
you know. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait to play it. I'm
It's
hoping I got
it's a
my
charming little game. It is a charming little game, for sure. All right, Mike, you want to talk about what you've been playing?
Sure. Not a whole lot different than I have been playing, other than I downloaded the free PlayStation Plus PS4 version of Injustice: Gods Among Us. I don't know if you guys ever played that. Did you guys ever play that?
I've always meant to, and I never have.
I've never played it either.
So I don't really give a damn about superheroes, but I do like fighting games, and I really love the way they did the story mode in the most recent Mortal Kombat game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they've done the same thing here. So it makes me much more interested in superheroes than I would otherwise be. And it is, it's graphically quite pleasing, and it does the thing where the stages change, and it has these kind of X-ray. They're X-ray moves in Mortal Kombat. I'm not even sure what they're called in this game, but they're like special moves that are ridiculous, like Batman. He throws electrified batarangs at you that shock you, and then he jumps out of the way, and the Batmobile comes flying in and runs over the other guy. And
That's awesome.
They're just crazy enough to be entertaining. So I haven't played a ton of it yet, but it seems really cool. It is daunting anytime that you start playing another fighting game and realize that you have to master another complete character set. The moves are similar enough to other fighting games that it's not too ridiculous to try to do that, but then you have to remember which character does what, and that can be kind of annoying until you figure it out, but so far so good. It's the character models. I don't know what the deal is with people who do games using DC characters, but they always look really shitty to me. Like, they always look, I don't know, too muscular and weirdly proportioned, especially Batman. Like, every time I see one of the trailers for the Rocksteady Batman game, I think I might like this game if Batman didn't look so damn stupid.
Those games scream Unreal.
Totally. They absolutely do. And this game kind of does that as well, just in terms of the way the characters look. They all look like they're Marcus Phoenix in superhero costumes. But it is really fun, and it has that same, if you liked that story mode for Mortal Kombat, as much as I did, then there's no reason not to check this out, especially considering that it is free with PlayStation Plus, which is pretty neat. Awesome. And I keep playing Dragon Age Inquisition and trying to figure out whether or not I like that game.
Game of the year.
I can't believe that was Game of the Year. I really can't. It's pretty good. Here's the thing. One thing that I always really like in an RPG, and I often choose the character class when it's available, is a healer. Mm-hmm. And in Dragon Age Inquisition, there are no healers. I don't know if I mentioned this when we last talked about this, but this game has no healers. You use potions to heal yourself, basically exclusively. And that's incredibly annoying in an RPG.
Is that because the healers are the,
no
class of...
The bad guys? No, because you can be a mage, and actually my character is a mage, and I have other mages in my party, but none of them have the ability to heal you.
Oh.
I don't really dig that. And it's still, a lot of people after I talked last time said, dude, you just need to get out of the hinterlands and try some of these other areas where it opens up and you get to do more interesting and varied things. It still kind of feels the same to me. You go to a new area and get a big long checklist of stuff to do, and then you traipse around and do it.
I love it when you say hinterlands.
Hinterlands. And the combat, it would be good if the combat were better, but the combat is not particularly good. It is a lot like World of Warcraft, where you hold one button down and wait for the cooldowns on your spells, and then use all the spells you can, and then hold one button down until all of your spells cool down again, and then you use those again. And that's not particularly interesting to me. And then the other thing I was going to mention really quick, just because it demonstrates how differently kids think about video games than I think about video games. I got Little Big Planet 3. I love Little Big Planet 3. I think Little Big Planet 3 is a fantastic game and probably the best one in the series, which is incredible considering that it's not Media Molecule. I mean, Little Big Planet 1 will always be my favorite one just because it was the first one, but what they did with Little Big Planet 3 I think is pretty astounding. But my kids wanted to play Little Big Planet. I asked them if they wanted to play Little Big Planet 3 on the PlayStation 4. They said, no, we mean the first one.
Wow.
So they spent all day yesterday, well, not all day, but a considerable amount of time, both yesterday and today, playing Little Big Planet 1. And when I asked them why that one instead of the new one, it was because they like the music in Little Big Planet 1. So when they're playing the game, they like having that original Go Team song and a bunch of those other tracks that they love playing in the background, which I thought was kind of an interesting way of looking at it and one that I had not considered. But the music in Little Big Planet 1 is pretty special. So I kind of have to agree with them there, even though it's frustrating that I spent $60 on a game that they seemingly do not want to play. Little shits. And Christmas is canceled.
Smash Brothers.
Actually, so I had been trying to convince them that they wanted Smash Brothers and had been failing, and they finally just this past week said that they wanted the 3DS version of Smash Brothers. They just wanted one cartridge to share between the two of them. So I went and and pick that up. So that will be a Christmas present for them.
When we originally talked about Smash Brothers on 3DS, I kind of dismissed it because I feel like that screen is a little bit too small for the game.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've since gone back, and I'm actually really enjoying that one as well. I'm really into Smash Brothers all of a sudden. I
Weird.
don't know how I was never into this series before, but I'm like really into it right now. So
That's a game. So in testament to how much they love the music in the first Little Big Planet, they play almost every game that they play with no volume because they're either listening to music or they're just chatting with each other. They turn the volume down on virtually every game that they play, except for Little Big Planet, which they always have cranked because they love the music.
well,
It's kind of interesting.
if you get them Smash Brothers, they'll want to listen to that too because the music in that game is incredible.
Even on the 3DS.
The 3DS music's even really good too, yeah.
Okay,
But the
cool.
music selection on the Wii U version is like it's endless.
They've got like 300 different
Yeah.
tracks you can
Good lord.
select from.
I'm at 300, but yes,
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they think of that once they start playing it because they are big Smash Brothers fans. They really love the GameCube version for some reason. That's their go-to. Is still the
I thought that
GameCube
was
version of Smash
kind of
Brothers.
accepted as like the version
Yes.
of Smash
Is
Brothers.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Well, they have impeccable taste then.
they do.
That's pretty much
All
it,
right.
though, other than my usual spate of sports games, which are a perennial thing, so nobody wants to hear about those.
So Mario Kart 8.
Exactly. Sports game of the year.
I mean, you should be playing it if you profess to enjoy sports games. You should.
Yeah,
play
That's
the
true.
best one of the
I'm
year.
a fraud.
The best one.
I'm an absolute fraud.
All right, Greg.
Smash Brothers is really all I've been playing this week.
Well, let's do a Sunset Overdrive check real quick.
It's too far across the room.
But is it still in the shrink wrap?
Yes.
Ah, that is unfortunate.
I'll tell you what else. I've actually been trying to clean up. I have like 10 events left in Forza 5, and just revisiting that. Man, when you're playing like the F1 cars and the Indy cars in that game is sweet. I so want Turn 10 to do an F1 and or IndyCar full-fledged game.
Really, they have like the handling and physics of
They have-
that racing type
I
down?
did not expect it because I've always found like their physics engine, the handling in those cars is a little loose for my liking.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into the supercars, and I find a lot of times in those games, I don't like the way they control. But man, like they've got these extremely high downforce, low center of gravity, open wheel cars are just a blast to drive. They're so well done.
Interesting.
I would kill for them to do a full-fledged IndyCar or F1 game.
So, and you literally have only 10 events total left in that game to 100%ing it?
No, just to completing, because the way it works, because they were so short on tracks, you have 10 events that you have to complete in each tier.
Okay.
But then what it does at that point is it unlocks all the other tracks, which I think are like 5 more at that
Gotcha.
in that game because there weren't that many. So if you want 100% it, you have to go through and play, all 15. I haven't done that, but I mean I've been playing it pretty consistently for a year, but I play like 1 or 2 events at a time.
That's still pretty impressive that you've knocked out that much of that game. That's a lot. That's a lot of racing.
It is a lot of racing, but it's gotten so good.
That's cool.
Game of the year 2014.
Spoiler. I have no idea what I started thinking about that this past week and thought, can I even come up with 5 games that I completely loved this year? And I'm not convinced that I can.
You're not alone. You're not alone. No, see, you're not alone.
I
It's
can't.
nothing against them, but I just don't have. There's not a lot that came out this year that I just completely fell in love with.
Yeah, there's nothing I'm wildly passionate about like I am
Yeah.
usually. There's usually at least one game that I just,
I will
head
say-
over heels for.
I can come up with a list of 5 games that I loved this year, but in terms of like ranking them, like a clear number 1, I'm not sure if there's a clear
It's just the only thing I'm sure of right now.
number 1. It's like
already
everything's
spoiled
tied. Everything's tied.
Wow, it's a 5-way tie for first place.
That's
It's going to be an exciting show.
Nothing like a good 5-way.
Yeah. Well, is that it, Greg? That was all?
Yeah, that's all I've got.
All right. Well, before we go, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Kevin Larrabee and Back in My Play, He invited me on to talk about Wind Waker, and that episode is out now at backofmyplay.com. A lot of fun to revisit that game. I love that game.
I heard you talk some mess about me on that show, Johnston.
Yeah, I went back in the EGM archive
Mm-hmm.
to the issue where the Toon Link stuff was first revealed, and there's an editorial in the back that we all contributed to where we said what we thought of the new graphic style, and you did not like it.
Mm-mm.
So I called you out.
Thanks for that.
For that. I of course loved it from the minute it was revealed.
You were in Japan when that was revealed, were you not? You were at the show.
I may have
there?
been. Yeah, I think I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, backofmyplay.com. Check out that Wind Waker episode and all their episodes, really, because that is a fantastic podcast. And
Not
thanks
the
to
ones
Kevin
that
for
Greg
having
is
me
on. Don't listen to the one that's
So
on
that's
Greg
like
is
half
on.
of them.
Those are poor.
That's true. Yeah.
That hurts me. That hurts me. I can't even begin to describe.
My favorite episodes of the Player One podcast are the ones that you're on, Greg.
Thanks, man.
No worries.
I feel the same about you.
Thanks.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for joining us. If you would like to comment on something that you heard or ask us a question, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter if you want. We also have an internet website at player1podcast.com. There you will find blog entries, Generation 16 episodes when they happen.
Episode 14 is done. It has actually been released to patrons who have donated $5 or more per episode, and it will be out generally this Friday.
Excellent. So look forward to that. And, hey, we have a Patreon campaign too. Patreon.com/P1Podcast. You can donate if you want to.
If you like
But it'd be
what
nice if you did.
CJ, the more you donate, the less clothing CJ will wear in each subsequent live stream.
Whoa.
That's right.
I have just upped my contribution.
I just opened my wallet.
That's right.
I want to get down to the Johnston loincloth. That's the look I'm going for.
I just want to get down to the Johnston.
Yikes. Wait. I don't know if I like this.
It seems all right. How far are you willing to go to get donations, Chris?
We'll talk about that later.
You might want to lock that door, though.
I
Yeah, no
did.
kidding.
I did.
Did you really?
I did log
You
it.
locked her out?
You're
You
terrible.
bastard.
She
She was having the time of her life. You kicked her out and locked the door. What a
Put up with
dick.
Phil's offspring every single week, and you won't let Charlotte come into the room once in a while.
Man.
well, she did once in this episode. That's
Man.
all that's allowed.
You're getting nothing but a lump of coal.
CJ picked her up, took her out, said, "Daddy will deal with you later." Slammed the door and locked it.
Hey, I thought I had my microphone on mute.
Hmm.
Also on player1podcast.com, you can join our message boards and discuss this very episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by going to player1podcast.com or to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can spend $1.99 on our lovely iTunes iPhone, iOS app, whatever
Yes.
it is. You can stream all our episodes. You can send us emails. You can look at our pretty logo. There's lots of stuff you can do for your $1.99. You can
Yeah.
also find that on the Amazon Android App Store
True.
for $1.99.
Cheap.
Yes.
Eh.
Listen to us
Yeah.
on Stitcher. We
You like us on Facebook.
like us on Facebook. You can also watch us live most weeks on YouTube. The raw version, Player One Raw, before CJ does his magic in the editing suite that he's taking
True.
an extra day to do from now on.
I go pants free on the YouTube.
Amen.
Ooh.
Hey CJ,
Yeah.
thanks for being you, man.
Sure. Hey, no problem.
Mike,
Hi, Greg.
every episode you're on is my favorite episode of the Player One Podcast.
Thank you. I feel the same about me.
Ah.
Or you.
Wait,
I feel the same about
Wait.
you.
Huh?
All right,
Next week?
I think we're done.
Let's
Next week,
do-
tune in for the world premiere of Player One Podcast, episode
23.
423.
Excellent. I look forward to that.
This was a world premiere presentation right here, too. Just pointing that out. And also, we won an award. Here's an award. No,
Just as an aside, Jeff Keighley just took us aside and said, "Oh, and by the way."
By the way.
Exactly. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.